We're open to dialogue. We prefer diplomacy. It remains up to Russia to decide how to respond. We're ready either way.
The United States continuing to urge Americans to leave Ukraine amid Russia tensions, with the embassy in Kiev writing in a statement the following: the security situation in Ukraine continues to be unpredictable due to the increased threat of Russian military action and can deteriorate with little notice. Joining us now from Brussels is Bloomberg's Tadeo, and Annmarie is down in D.C. Maria, good morning and good afternoon to you. What's the latest?
Well, you know, here's the thing. You talk about that risk of any war or military conflict breaking out at any moment. That is something the United States has said for weeks now. But I do want to say they are talking again, and that's been good enough for the ruble this morning. If you see it, it's ticked up a little. Now, just to give you some context here, Jonathan, the United States and NATO has now, or they have together jointly sent to NATO letters that would explain, that would address some of the security concerns that Russia may have. Remember, they said that they were open to pulling back some of the military equipment that could be problematic for Russia if they also pulled back some of the troops from eastern Ukraine. Now, the Russians have said that President Vladimir Putin has now read the documents, that he will take time in fully responding, but they continue to say for the time being, a war with Ukraine is something that's, quote, unthinkable for Russia. Whether or not you believe that that is the next move for the Russians, it is giving the ruble a prop this morning, this idea that the situation continues to be tense, but nonetheless, they continue to engage diplomatically.
Annmarie, how viable is the off-ramp?
Well, that's the big question, right? Will President Vladimir Putin take this off-ramp? They're not saying completely no to the proposals. What they're saying is it doesn't meet their primary security demands. Potentially, there is going to be some discussions on the secondary security demands, whether it's military exercises where placement of missiles are. This could potentially be a moment for President Vladimir Putin to sell to the Russian people that he was able to get something out of the West, given the aggression he has right now in terms of 100,000 troops on the Ukraine border and these military exercises planned in Belarus.
AMH, just looking at the administration right now, sounding the GDP figures. Just to move on quickly to that statement from the White House, I'll read out the first paragraph. The GDP numbers for my first year show that we are finally building an American economy for the 21st century with the fastest economic growth in nearly 4 decades, along with the greatest year of job growth in American history. Of course, some of this is just the dynamic of coming out of COVID, coming out of the pandemic and the massive downturn in the year before. But AMH, can we get this back at the epicenter of the conversation for this administration?
They're trying. You see that every day. Yesterday, the president met with executives to talk about Build Back Better. At the same time, what is overshadowing the questions the press are asking to the president, and also just the time his administration is spending, is these negotiations with Western leaders about what the sanctions package is going to be to President Vladimir Putin. As I continuously say, this just takes the oxygen out of the White House, and it is a pivot. The other thing we should note, Jonathan, is that Washington is going to be completely focused on who the next Supreme Court justice is. But for the Democrats in this administration, that is certainly going to be a win, because they're going to be able to appoint someone, and this is where the president could potentially cement a little bit of his legacy.